Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. And today I'm going to talk about this week's news. And the first one is it's on news center Menon. Yeah. Okay. So in this news, the topic is called. The title is called "Is This Well Translate to the Real World? Nursing students learning skills through virtual reality." Okay, so pretty much because of COVID, it's really hard to train nursing students in the hospital. So they came up with a very good solutions, which put the nursing students inside virtual reality, which allows them to, like helping to see the patient and using their controllers to see what's different, what's the status of different patients. So that's see the news.
Haven't had many opportunities to learn in hospital settings because of the pandemic. But students at the University of New England's nursing program are learning skills to prepare for the real world with the help of virtual reality simulations. News Center Maine's Vivien Leigh has the story from Portland.
In this class at the University of New England School of Nursing and Population Health's Portland campus, students strap on headsets
There we are.
and are handed controllers from their instructor.
You ready to go? All right.
Students are assessing a patient immersed in a virtual reality simulation program. Today's scenario takes place in a hospital maternity ward. Students must first determine the symptoms of a pregnant patient who was just sent over from her doctor's office.
Okay, so headache, vision problems, and not feeling right. Anything else?
Students check reflexes, vital signs of both mom and baby.
The baby's position seems to be vertex.
Through VR, nursing students are learning hands-on skills at a time when watching real-world hospitalizations is very limited. Dawn Marie Dunbar is the director of the UNE Simulation Center.
Certainly with the challenges of COVID, oftentimes those units are closed to our students for learning. So being able to have the opportunity to have them experience that in the virtual reality world has been a huge benefit.
Kathleen Humphreys, who is a senior in the program, says the scenarios make her feel like she's actually in the room with the patient.
It does allow us to screen for more critical cases where we do really need to make interventions and call the providers.
After students run through a scenario, they get immediate feedback on their mistakes and without the stress of practicing skills on a real patient.
A lot of times we can kind of go back in and redo the scenario, and so that's a good opportunity to really learn.
Now, UNE was the first medical school in the country to begin using the virtual reality simulation program with its nursing students, and the hope is within the next year to expand it to include students who are studying to become physician's assistants who work with medical teams. Students are practicing different virtual scenarios, including pediatric wards and community clinics, to better equip these future nurses to care for patients in any type of setting. In Portland, Vivien Leigh, News Center, Maine.
Yeah, okay. So from this news, we know that virtual reality can really assist nursing students to learn the skills they need during COVID this time, and later on they can be a better by the simulation of training. Later on, they can be a better nurse in the future. Okay, so this is the first news. And the author is Vivien Leigh, and it's on News Center Maine. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Next one, the news is on the search CIO techtarget.com. Okay, so the title is called 3 Enterprise Uses for Virtual Reality. We all know that VR can really helps people to learn things, to catch up things quickly, and also doing it in sales, marketing, presentation, or even 3D in a 3D environment design. For example, like industrial design. If you have ever used any like software such as Tilt, right? Or Gravity Sketch or Sketch Gravity, right? Those kind of like 3D VR design tools, those softwares, those are really good for 3D design, because you can just directly design in the 3D space. So, and later on it talks about gaming. So the first one is employee safety training. For example, like companies such as some some companies like PB or ExxonMobil use VR to train their employees in everyday work scenarios, such as like startup and emergency exit procedure initiations, something that requires some training, but you need to put your employee in a safe situation, but you also need to let them to experience like something dangerous in a safe way. So VR is a very good tools for people to put people in a safe environment while doing a lot of dangerous training. For example, like doing some for example, like assembly line workers, they can pretty much safely working in the VR or training inside VR without getting hurt by the dangerous environment. Yeah, and there's a very interesting stories, or the news is from Royal Mail delivers in UK. In that company, Royal Mail, they kind of train their mail delivers, how to avoid dog attack through VR. It's very interesting that, when I saw this news, I find out that actually, according to their data, the organization saw an average of 44 dog attacks a week in 2018. So dog attacks are kind of like a very common situation for mail deliver, and for the mail deliver is very important for them to deal with dogs. So before the company tried different ways. For example, like they put this, some tutorials how to avoid dog attack. They make some videos, they make brochures, they put like in the car, they were trying to solve the problem, but because it's not serious enough for their workers to think this is a big deal, right? So people still get dog attacked when they were trying to deliver mails and getting and walk through gardens, or like it. So I find out this is very interesting because this is kind of like the everyday situation. And once those workers were being put inside VR places, they start taking things seriously, because they are so immersed, there's no other distractions, so they can focus on dealing with the dog attack. And also inside their VR training for avoid dog attack, they kind of being taught to be, when you see a dog, you need to start being silent and slow down your emotion and start, trying to look like you are not a threat, right? So be friendly, or, so there are a lot of different training ways inside that VR software for that training. So I find out this is very, very interesting. And also you see, like in every situation that given to the mail deliverer, they also provide feedback based on what they choose to do and what the outcomes will look like to be. So it's very similar to real world scenarios. So the mail deliverers can be isolated in another place, which avoid them to get the real dog bite attacked, but still get the experience from it. It's like a little similar like getting a vaccine, right? It's like you kind of learn something, but without getting the serious consequence, and your body learns things, right? Or your brain learns things. So I find out this is a very interesting scenarios. Okay, so let's talk about the third news. The third news is a very interesting news. This news is on RFI.fr. The title is called France Trials Virtual Reality Empathy Machine on Domestic Violence Offenders. So pretty much right now, and the author is called, her name is called Amanda Morrow. Okay, so pretty much France is launching an experiment that uses virtual reality to stop men convicted of domestic violence from reoffending. We all know that crime is something that people are trying to solve it, but there are a lot of sociology issues that still, it's very complicated to reduce crimes. So yeah, so I think the very interesting thing about
I'm not hungry.
The very interesting things about the reducing crime. One of it is to kind of put the criminal in the shoes of the victim, which is adding some empathy for them. Because in this article, it talks about they believe that the reason why people commit crime is because they are lacking of empathy. So violence linked to low empathy, right? So in order for the criminal or domestic offenders to feel more like they are in the positions of their victims, it's very good to use VR, so they can switch their position, so they can start feeling about their victim, right? For example, so domestic violence experts help to develop the scenarios lasting 12 minutes, which address themes including control, psychological violence, and physical violence. So those offenders can experience what their victims feels like being offended or being bullied, right? So I think this is a very interesting experiment. So yeah, so it can kind of help the offenders to get more empathy to this VR device, to their victims. So yeah, so personally, I think those are really good experiment, or very good kind of like the way that we are trying to use VR for. And right now it's only volunteer only. So later on, once they got a better solutions, or they come up with a better statistics, then maybe this can be implemented into like a lot of jails. So I think this, I don't know the result, but I think the intention is good. It's trying to reduce the crime and increase the empathies for the offenders, or the criminals. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's today's news, and thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.